Hey everyone, it is Kim Velez. So I'm going to answer a question that was left on YouTube comments. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Hey everyone, it's Kim Velez. I am a conscious life and success coach, and I am all about you manifesting your best dope ass life possible. So if that sounds amazing to you, then definitely subscribe so you can check out all my videos that I upload every Monday and Thursday. All right, so let's talk about this. This is actually a really good question, and now that I have a little bit more freedom where I can do things like this, I'm really, going to look at the comments as much as I can and screenshot some so that I can answer them in some of the videos, because I think they help everyone, right? If people are confused or not understanding, that one person who posted the question is not the only one. There's many other people that are probably thinking the same thing. All right, so before we jump in, if you are interested in any of my online courses, I have How to Manifest Your SP Back and Keep Them for a Good course. This is how I manifest mine and how things are conforming amazingly. I also have my self-concept course called You Are the Prize. That is a 30-day program. So those links can be found on my website and below. All right, so let's jump in. So I'm going to read this question and then I'm going to give you my opinion on it to lead you in the best way possible. So I've limited myself to only watching 2 channels, yours and one other whose message is the same as yours. This has been working for me to better understand manifesting. Self-concept is now my #1 focus. Good fucking, I love that. I'm happy to hear that. SP is now secondary. I've been thinking changing my story about myself using affirmations was the right way to change my self-concept. However, I made the huge mistake of watching another coach's video, and she said you can't just do affirmations to change self-concept. She said you have to have the inner belief that you are this new person. I don't believe that I am that new person yet. I thought affirmations would be the way to get there. I'm so confused now, and I regret even clicking on her video. I'd appreciate any thoughts on this subject. In the meantime, I'm going to browse your videos to see if you've already touched on it. All right, so this is a really good question. So thank you so much for writing this and asking. So let's look at this logically, right? So thoughts turn into assumptions. What is an assumption? A belief. Thoughts turn into assumptions and beliefs. So the way you change your self-concept, so your self-concept is your self-identity. And that identity has a story that's in its subconscious mind that goes automatic of how you see yourself in regards, especially to a specific person, especially to your pattern in your romantic life. So if you see yourself as picking shitty partners, if you see yourself as unlucky in love, if you see yourself as not good enough, the girl that never gets the fucking commitment, like whatever, we all have negative stories, right, about different things. So whatever that has been, you've manifested that over and over. So that is what you're changing. This is why you're changing your self-concept. You have to start understanding, no, this is who I am. And the way to program your mind to believe that you are that is through repetition. So most people, especially with self-identity, especially with an identity that they have been attached to since childhood usually, cannot just all of a sudden say, oh, you know what, I believe this is who I am now, this is who I'm going to be, and never have any opposing thoughts that think otherwise. Good fucking luck. And if anybody's preaching that or teaching that, click the fuck off, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And you're gonna set yourself up for failure and disappointment and feel like, what is wrong with me that I can't get this? So I'm here to tell you the truth, because I actually had to reprogram my mind, and I'm not skipping the steps, and I'm telling everyone that I come in contact with of this is what you do to get you to see yourself different, and it takes time. So there's different beliefs that can be replaced more quickly than others. So everyone is different. So you may be able to change an old belief into a new one in a matter of days or a matter of weeks with certain things. Someone else, it may take them months. I know for me personally, when I made the decision a year ago to really focus on my self-concept, especially when it came to my romantic life and with a specific person, I was like, bring it. I have had every trigger. I've been triggered nonstop. I've had everything mirrored back to me. Any limiting belief that is not identified with the self-concept version that I was reprogramming. So I was changing my identity, changing my story of who I am, i.e. self-concept. So I learned how to reprogram my mind so those triggers are null and void now. They no longer trigger me because my new story is dominant. So and by the way, everything is flowing in the way that I want. So how did I do that? Well, I did that because I said affirmations. So this is what drives me nuts, because even when we're visualizing, which I love to visualize personally, I have nothing against doing techniques. Techniques are fun, and I think people should find ones that just feel very natural for them and move them into that version of themselves. But you want to also include your affirmations, which are thoughts. Affirmations are simply thoughts. So your brain isn't just going to erase your old pattern of thinking. It can't. It doesn't do that. You have to redirect your mind and create a new program of thinking. And you do that through conscious awareness, or being aware. So your conscious mind is convincing your subconscious mind that this is who you are, because your subconscious mind says, no, my self-concept sucks. And your conscious mind, when you start affirming and thinking the new story, they don't fucking match. So how do you get them to match? You get them to match when you've reprogrammed your mind. This is why you'll manifest in, because your thoughts create your reality. So you'll manifest in hot and cold, you'll manifest a lot of things, because internally, your dominant story is still going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So the way that has helped me personally, and has helped the thousands of people that I personally coach and work with, is through affirming, focusing, reprogramming their mind throughout the day. And then I think the sweet spot is, if you're someone who does audio, like you just hear the conversations you want to hear, the inner conversations, or you like to visualize and journal because you really go into that meditative state when you're doing that, that just feels good for me, so I like to do it. I do both. But when you're thinking a thought, your brain is automatically pulling up imagery that it correlates with whatever thought you're thinking. So you don't end up believing you are worthy and value if your whole life you have felt not worthy and value, and you've manifested multiple relationships that have mirrored that back to you, because it is imprinted in your subconscious mind that you are not worthy and valuable or whatever when it comes to a relationship or to the SP. So that is what you're reprogramming to turn it into a belief. So you're not doing anything wrong, my love. The person who posted this comment, you are right where you need to be. Just keep focusing and embodying. So what does embodying mean? So embodying means, this is where we want to focus on Neville too, of moving into the wish fulfilled. So if you were the version of you that had what she wanted, then your thoughts would be focusing on a reality that's pleasurable, pleasing. That is you living that life already. So that's why you have to do your mental diet, and you have to affirm the new story of you. Now, what happens is the more you reprogram yourself, eventually through thinking these new thoughts, speaking them out loud, training your mind to say, no, this is who we are, this is who we are, and repeatedly doing that, you're overriding the old programming, and at some point you will imprint your subconscious mind, and you'll imprint it so much that now it's a new belief. So for me personally, it took me almost a year to work through all my triggers that kept coming up for me, but I took joy in it because I understood what was happening and said, okay, good, I'm one step closer to being the version of me. And I just worked through those triggers until one day I had reflected something from my old self-concept, my old reality, and there was no trigger, and it just reinforced for me that, oh my gosh, I finally have reprogrammed this, and I just knew my worth and value and knew that I had this in the bag. And that is when everything just fucking flooded in consistently for me in my favor. So that's my personal experience. It does not have to take you a year. Everyone is different. It may take you a year. I don't know. But this is why you don't give up. So you can't just know and believe that this is who you are when your belief about who you are is the opposite. That's why you're reprogramming your mind. So eventually you will believe it. And that's the goal. We want to get to the goal where we believe this is who we are, and we believe that this is happening in our reality, or we're going to experience it in our reality. I mean, that's what this whole game is about. You're replacing an assumption. Your natural assumption when you think of yourself is not favorable. So that is why you're consciously affirming and focusing your mind on a story affirmations, thoughts that say otherwise, that say this is who you are if you were in the wish fulfilled. This is who you are, the version of you that is sustaining the reality of her desires, the relationship of her desires. And working through those insecurities, reprogramming those limiting beliefs that are blocking you and stopping you from manifesting everything you want and accepting it. That's the key thing, is how do you accept it? You can't accept it when your brain is focusing on the story that says, well, this is who you are, somebody who can't accept this. So that is what you're doing. You're changing a natural assumption that's not favorable, and you're reprogramming your mind through affirming and whatever other technique, but you have to affirm. You can't just think that I don't have to focus on my thoughts at all during the day. Like, that is crazy. Your mind is going 100 miles a minute all the time. So you need to be conscious. That's what conscious manifesting is. You're choosing the reality of your desire. You're not like, oh, I don't know. Just whatever, brain, whatever you want to keep manifesting. That's not what the fuck you're doing. So you're the conscious creator of your reality. You are the operant power. So you're taking charge of your mind. You're no longer letting it stay on autopilot from old programming that is not even your truth. It's just imprinted in your mind and you believe it to be true. And that is what is a natural assumption for you, which is why you keep assuming not in your favor and you keep manifesting shit not in your favor. So to reprogram that is through affirming and whatever other fucking technique you want to do, to each their own. But you're choosing the story you're going to repeat over and over. That's how you reprogram your mind. And then eventually you will believe it. Nobody believes it in the beginning. If we did, then everybody would manifest their SP back the first fucking day and keep them, and it would never be an issue again. So, that is bullshit what that person's saying. You will get there eventually, but you get there by focusing and convincing yourself that this is who you are. And the way you convince yourself is to keep telling your story, this is who I am. That's affirming. That is what affirming is. A lot of people in this community don't understand what affirming is. They call it a technique. And I'm like, yo, it's not a technique. Your mental diet is your fucking thoughts that are creating your reality. So you're taking control of a lot of them throughout the day and deciding the story of who you are. And so eventually it will become your new natural assumption that says, oh, here's who I am when it comes to my SP. And once you believe it fully, girl, you're on fire. You won't give a fuck what shows up in your 3D. Trust me, been there, done that, because you're just like, are you kidding? I know who I am. You don't question it. You don't allow anything on the outside to shake that or waver at all in that. And that is when shit just keeps coming in in your favor, and you've really mastered your mind and really have taken ownership of this new self-concept. But you will believe it the more you're reprogramming your mind. Just everyone's different. Everyone's different with how long that takes. So I hope this brought some clarity. I hope that you feel better about this. You're not doing anything wrong. Keep it up and don't let other people dissuade you. All right, bye.